Unlike any event in its history, it hosts the first ever snowboarding competition. Without further ado, the Union Square Street Sessions presented by Jeep.
Mom, don't talk.
Union Square is the site for the city's first ever snowboarding event. But in order to make this rail jam possible, we've had to head 50 miles across the river to Vernon, New Jersey, to the location of Jib Lab, the custom design and fabrication team at Mountain Creek. After months of preparation, multiple hours of labor, and daily welding burns, the team at Jib Lab managed to incorporate a Jeep Wrangler into a flat down rail. Also building a 3,500-pound stair set with 3 features. The entire structure took over 500 additional pieces of steel to hold it all together. The crew then filled 6 dump trucks with snow to transport to Manhattan. All in all, 13 tons of snow made it to Union Square in preparation for the big day. So a lot of snow and a great setup transported here for the Union Square Street Sessions presented by Jeep. I'm now joined by pro snowboarder Keir Dillon. And Keir, right now, a little chance to look back at semifinal action where some big names showed out with a lot of new names.
Yeah, you have Danny Cass, 2-time silver medalist, coming out here to New York. You know, he grew up on the East Coast, so he comes back to show his love to the East Coast.
Hailing out of New Jersey, Danny Cass, no stranger to the cold conditions, but challenging that flat landing. A lot of the riders having to kind of push hard. See Louis Vito, also a East Coaster, but Frank Montoya, legendary when you talk about urban rail riding.
Yeah, Mark Frank's definitely a legend. He kind of had a little knee injury last year, so kind of just more here for moral support of the athletes.
But fans treated to all levels of riding. A lot of new riders in the sport. Charles Reed.
Charles Reed's new, definitely has the skills to throw down with the best of them. With tricks like that, 270 frontside board slide.
Promising young Canadian snowboarder, also taking advantage of gateway box in the flats. So many obstacles to hit here, hubba ledges, flat down, and Chris Rotrax, surprisingly, you know, one of the top riders in rails, had problems over the Jeep.
Yeah, he told me it's going for the backside 450 to the gap, flat down section of that Jeep rail. He said he hooked up when he took off, and unfortunately, I think he tweaked his shoulder on that attempt.
One of the best in the sport, Chris Rotax, having problems in the semifinal rounds. And Eddie Wall, one of the hardest working guys in snowboarding, without a doubt.
Also grew up in Pennsylvania, so I'm sure he's skated in New York City plenty of times, now here snowboarding in Union Square.
Yeah, big-time skater, and has made the move to the West Coast in Mammoth. Talking about that hard work ethic, Eddie Wall, guy doing well in early rounds. Brandon Reese qualified to make it here back at the Shop Wars in Killington. You talk about all these young riders working their way to get to the Union Square Street Sessions, and Brandon, just another one of those riders, being able to compete with the sport's top, but went down hard on that center rail.
A lot of rail riding competitions, they do that. They give that wild cardy spot for those athletes coming up. Nixon, Jib Fest is known for doing that, and then bringing that to this element here at the Union Square Street Session.
And the youngest competitor in the contest, Jeremy Clutie.
Drawing a barrage of tricks there.
Was able to put together a collection of tricks on all the sliders, but had some problems. Wasn't able to make it out of semis.
Overall, well-rounded rider, though. He just got second at the Grand Prix in Mount Bachelor last weekend, and then here in New York City. Just showing he's got the skills to do everything.
And the rider that has been turning heads all season long, Lucas Magoon, one of the favorites here tonight.
And for good reason. Won 2 out of 3 qualifiers and just won the Honda Sessions just 3 weeks ago.
And when it comes to rail gear, you watch just how compact and how smooth his style is.
Yeah, he oozes with style. It's almost like effortlessly.
Without a doubt. And then Pat Moore, known for his high air capabilities on quarter pipes, but showing his jib skills as well. Nico Choppy.
Yeah, Nico out of Rutland, Vermont as well. It helps so much growing up with riders like Lucas where you can team up and really practice those skills and push each other.
But Nico pulls the escape hatch. I'm going to say lucky on that one, Kier.
Very lucky. Not as lucky for Jeep, though.
And Scotty Arnold, a veteran in the sport as well. You just notice the bigger stature there. Hard to get in those rotations on these short, fast rails.
Especially these rails. They're a little steeper than the average setup, so really the riders have to adjust to these rails and get their tricks dialed. Oh, going for the frontside board, hanging up, saving them by pure athleticism from sliding down those 16 metal stairs.
Jeremy Jones was like
very smooth.
in Canada, and there are all these avalanches
you can tell
and
too,
stuff.
he lands, slides
It's
out.
crazy. I'll show you the video.
You really got to get that rail between the board if you want to come off perfectly for how steep these rails are.
Yale Kuzno.
Yale Kuzno, the backside 270. One thing to notice, he spins over top of the rail before he gets on. It's called the hard way. A lot harder than the normal way of backside 270.
Line and hard. And there's Eddie Wall. Very positive rider. Yet again, success. The consistency is just starting to add up for Eddie.
Yeah, another 270 on, 270 off. He's flawless tonight. Every single trick he tries, he lands perfectly.
Lucas Magoo, we've been talking about his style, but definitely... Oh, trying to up the ante here.
A lethal combination, style and 450s. The first one we've seen tonight, just enjoying everything. Lip slide.
You kind of sometimes get lost in the amount of rotations, what they're doing here, because the rails are so tight and technical. You saw Yale Kuzno there.
And speaking of technical, the backside 270, 270 off the hard way, stepped it up from ice.
Here comes the goofy foot, Lucas Magoo again. Wow, buttery up top and then just spins all the way out. It's a clean landing.
Another lip slide to 450 off. A little bit cleaner landing on this one. I think you want to dial that in for the judges.
And Eddie Wall grabs the last drop for the finals. And what a way to punctuate his night here.
Yeah, perfect exclamation mark on Eddie Wall's night. The 270 to 270 off. Amazing night for Eddie Wall.